Hi, you all, and welcome back to Growth Theory. Today, I wanted to talk about 5 fears to overcome if you want to be successful. Now, these are 5 things that I have put together because I have experience in this area. And these are 5 things that not only have I worked really hard to try to overcome, but they're things that I have to constantly be checking myself on because as you grow, you may think that you'll overcome certain aspects of your life, and sometimes you do fully, but other times you need that reminder of how to overcome those things. So this podcast is for you, but also for me to look back on when I find myself kind of maybe falling back. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first fear to overcome if you want to be successful is fear of criticism. This comes from the fear of what other people think of you and what you're doing. Being afraid that others will judge you for an idea you have or what you're pursuing. Here's what I've learned about this. People who criticize you have never done what you're trying to do. They've never walked that path before and don't necessarily know the ins and outs of what it will take to be successful in the area that you are pursuing. So whenever you feel a struggle in this area and feel that fear of criticism creeping in, mind the words of Dr. Seuss. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Give attention to people who are speaking encouragement and life into you. The others who have nothing but negativity to say and want to literally squash every possible dream that you may have, don't leave too much room for that in your life. That doesn't mean that you have to cut them off or, block them, but it does mean that you have to guard your heart a little bit more and think about what voices and thoughts you're allowing into your space. At the end of the day, what is your intuition telling you? If you're not sure, I've learned that this is a good time to get quiet and still so you can hear that still small voice. Let it guide you. Your gut is never wrong. The second fear to overcome is fear of risks. This is a big one. Most people are okay with the status quo, and there's nothing wrong with living a status quo life. Not everyone is meant to take massive risks. However, if you're someone who does want to have an unconventional life, risk-taking is essential. There is no getting around it. I've had to push past so many fears, and they all boil down to fear of change, fear of putting myself out there, all of which felt like such massive risks to me. But with every risk taken, I've learned a valuable lesson. You'll never know how much you can achieve or how far you can go unless you take some risks. Think of a baby trying to take its first steps. It's a risk to stand and take that step. Up until that point, that baby has only been crawling around town. They most likely will fall, but after a few tries, their muscles get stronger, their mind gains a little bit more confidence, and eventually they get there. If you've ever seen a baby take its first steps, you know. They're so proud of themselves. It's so cute, and everybody starts cheering because, number one, they've put so much effort in, and they finally see some results. Bottom line, risks lead to you growing. The third thing to overcome is fear of failure. I've been guilty of this from time to time. At the beginning of my photography journey, I used to focus so much on my failures and not enough on my successes. This mindset really set me back. I would get so stuck all the time. It was like really bad. I would think that my risks and bad decisions were signs that maybe I should just quit. Maybe I wasn't cut out for it. But you know what I've learned? Failure is a part of success. It's a part of the process. There are no losses, only lessons. So learn from your mistakes and use them as fuel to push you forward to a better version of yourself. The fourth fear to overcome is the fear of offending others. Oof, this is a big one. If you're focused on not offending other people as you grow, this is your sign to do some self-reflection. When you grow, you naturally become more focused, which leads you to becoming more successful. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer. Success is different to everybody. So when you hear me say the word success, just go ahead and put it to whatever that means to you in the season that you're in. But at the end of the day, if you're focusing on not wanting to offend other people, you're focusing on the wrong thing. And simultaneously, you're blocking the impact you have on the world. You're honestly blocking your light. I've learned that as you grow, you naturally change. You set new boundaries because you start to realize that your time, effort, and self-worth are so incredibly valuable. And it's just that simple. And if people are offended, that's their issue, not yours. It's not your job to appease everyone because it's honestly impossible to do so. So just stop trying and save yourself some time and use that time towards something that is actually worth your effort and will bring back a return. Show up and show the world who you are, no matter what. Take chances and celebrate how far you've come and how far you're going. I believe that if you were given a vision, it's not just for you. It's for all the people who need what you have to offer. So focus on the impact you were created to make on this planet. Your impact is bigger than you think. Last but not least, the fifth fear you should overcome is the fear of success. Y'all, let's get into this. I have unpacked so much of this in therapy. Oh my goodness, I cannot even begin to start to explain. But growing up, success looked like something that others over there accomplished. You know, that's what someone else does, not me. And because of this, I didn't think that I had the potential to achieve anything that great. After all, I'm just little old Tina. I recently listened to a talk by Michael B. Beckwith. He talked about how everyone has a seed in them for greatness. He then went on to speak of how Mother Teresa was just little old Mother Teresa at one point. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they were just little old MLK and Malcolm X. Nelson Mandela, Jesus, the Dalai Lama, and so on. He listed out so many impactful people. His point at the end of all of this was these individuals understood their assignment and calling. They had taken time to understand what they stood for and why they were here, even if no one else did. This part of Michael B. Beckwith's talk made me remember a story of Jesus that always stood out to me when I was young. It was the story of Jesus when he was about 12. He went to the city of Jerusalem with his mother and father. And when he was there, he got caught up talking in the temple with a few people, a few religious teachers. And his parents up and bounced. I guess they forgot about him. They thought he was with them. I mean, this is some Home Alone stuff, okay? They literally thought Jesus was with them. And halfway home, they realized that, hold up, where's Jesus at? And they had to go back and get him and snatch him up out of the temple. And I always thought this was hilarious because, wow, young Jesus got snatched by Mary because he wasn't, where he needed to be, but he was where he knew his calling was supposed to be. He was in the temple, he was teaching, he was doing his thing, right? And so this made me think of understanding the calling, understanding the mission, understanding why you're here, even when nobody else understands why you're doing what you're doing. All the people that he listed either had other people speak life into their seed that was planted in them or speak life into them themselves, because let's be honest, not everyone has encouraging, affirming people around them. But either way, they watered that seed in them so they could reach their highest potential. These individuals, even if they were afraid of success at one point, they made it their mission to pursue success anyways. Mother Teresa made it her mission to pursue the success of her mission regardless. MLK made it his mission to pursue the success of his vision in spite of everything. He was willing to risk it all. And so same thing goes for Jesus, So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if fear of success creeps in. The key is to move forward in spite of that feeling. Am I saying you're like Jesus? Am I saying you're like the Dalai Lama, MLK, and so on? I mean, I low-key am. We all are here for a purpose. Like, if you're literally alive right now, this is epic. This is magical. And you do have a seed of success in you that's just waiting to be watered. Whether the seed of success that was planted in you has to do with building a massive company that will impact the world in a positive way, bringing joy and light at your job, and offering up innovative solutions to change the game and help your team, or being the best parent to raise up the next generation. Don't run from success. Run towards it at full speed. Let your light shine so bright, no matter who tries to dim it. It is your birthright. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. These are the 5 fears to overcome if you want to be successful. I hope that this podcast served you well, and I hope that it inspires you. Thank you so much for listening. Listen, if you haven't yet, I encourage you to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. Go ahead and leave a review as well, and I will catch you in the next one.